Alright, what is up, beautiful people? In this video, we're going to be talking about, and viewing my breathwork session. One of my favorite topics. I love breathwork. I do this practice every day, ideally in the morning, and we're going to talk about it, what breathwork is, how this stuff works. You may be interested in some sort of breathwork. You may have heard some ideas about it, some of the benefits that come with it. You might think it's weird. You might think it's kind of random. It's kind of out there. So in this video, we're going to cover some of these topics and hopefully bring some clarity to the subject. So I've been doing breathwork for at least 4 or 5 years now. Not necessarily consistently, especially when I first started, but now I've gotten myself into quite the groove with my breathwork practice, so I'm going to share that with you. So like I said, I do this breathwork practice every single morning. I find that this helps to wake me up and get me going, and it's something that just absolutely works on the spot. I don't really have to practice it for weeks or months on end before I see results, or I get a good feeling from it, or I see that or feel that it's working. No, this absolutely works on the spot immediately, to make me feel better, to feel energized, to really get my brain firing. It feels like on more cylinders, like it's fully activated afterwards. So that's one of the biggest benefits that come from this. And this comes from, it's pretty much similar. I don't think it's exactly the same as Wim Hof breathing. You may have heard of that, but that's who I learned this from, or have taken notes from. Wim Hof was big in the space, and he still is super big in the space of breath work and bringing it out to the masses and his programs. And he's one of the main figures that have helped me along my journey. And he has many videos explaining how to do the Wim Hof method, and he mixes it with cold exposure, which is incredibly insane when you just look at it, him jumping into cold plunges, or going underwater, going to the Arctic, all kinds of stuff like that. I think he's even climbed parts of Mount Everest just in his shorts. So that just goes to show the kind of incredible physical feats that can be accomplished with breathwork. So the reason that I do it is to feel better, function better, and to operate better. You might be looking at this as a relief from stress, a stress relief, anxiety relief, symptoms that might not be that great, whether they're physical ailments or even mental health. Breathwork can absolutely help in those areas. How does it actually even help in those areas? How can it help with mental health and physical health? Aren't we breathing all the time anyway? So shouldn't it be working all the time? In a way, we're breathing all the time. We're breathing all the time, even when we sleep, even when we don't think about it. As we're watching this video, we're always breathing. Breathwork is to take that function of breathing and making it intentional, doing it in a certain way purposefully, to get a sort of result. So yes, it's always happening, but when we manipulate our breathing patterns and mixing them with holds and pauses, and it could be short, rapid breaths, it can be long, deep breaths, it can go on for minutes, it can go on for half an hour, however long. There's many different things that we can do with our breath. The one that I'm doing here is quick and easy, and I fit this in within 10 minutes. And we're still wondering, like, how can this actually help? Well, with mental health, I find that it kind of lowers the chatter. It lowers the chatter in the brain. It gives us something physical to focus on, like a physical activity, but we can do this sitting down. And what this does is that it really oxygenates our blood. It oxygenates our blood when we do our holds and restrict it, and then we start breathing again. The brain starts accumulating more oxygenated blood because it thinks that there is a problem. It thinks there's something happening. Why am I holding my breath? The brain doesn't know that, but it just knows that it's not receiving oxygen, so that when it breathes again and it gets everything going, it floods the brain with oxygenated blood and the rest of the body. And something else that was a huge side benefit for me was just the function of breathing and using those abdomen and core muscles and the diaphragm. I find that that is something that is key. Those muscles are super important there around our rib cage, keeping everything in place, and bracing the rest of our body. And when we can learn how to breathe and use those muscles and really strengthen them, it's probably one of the best ab exercises out there. Nothing in the gym, I think, beats breathing for an ab exercise or a workout. And it's really functional because we're always breathing. The body's using these muscles continuously. So when we do breath work or we practice it and we strengthen ourselves and we get our body used to those muscles, what happens is that those muscles continue to work even after the breathwork session, even after that for the rest of the day. Whatever you're doing, it's going to be there in the background. It's going to be a light little feeling. You might not even notice it, but over time, our body's just going to be functioning and breathing better. Those airways are going to be open, and our body's just going to become more efficient with the oxygen that we do have. So this breathwork practice really puts our body in a state of feeling deprived, so that when it does get more oxygen, when things do get going again after the session, it doesn't take it for granted, and it uses it more efficiently throughout our body. And that's one of the major benefits and lasting benefits. And yes, I am sitting outside here in the cold weather doing my breath work. And no, this is not necessary to do breath work. You don't need to sit outside in the cold when it's close to 0 degrees. You don't have to sit in any kind of lotus position. You don't even have to sit up. You could lie down and do breath work and really relax. But this is the way I do it. And I do it here at this time. After I'm done, I can look directly into the sun and get really some of that UV light in my eyes, on my skin, on my body. And yes, I still do it even when it's absolutely freezing cold outside. So yeah, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about breathwork and how you do it. Incorporate this in your daily routine.